Oh, here we go again, Phil. Good evening.
You know, there's nowhere in the world I'd rather be, and there's no one I'd rather be with.
Well, now, that's a lovely thing to say, and I think we should all be, well, take credit.
Oh, well.
But let's just say Rio de Janeiro, Paris.
No.
The Champs-Élysées, Hollywood.
No, it sucks. I've been everywhere I want to go. I'm staying put now. I'm staying home with Oro, Tweety and Bruce.
What about with Robert De Niro? Or your mates, what was his name?
Oh, which one? I have so many.
Oh, yes. Who?
Which one of the actors?
Yes.
Oh, well, you know. Well, you're talking perhaps about Quentin Tarantino.
Yes.
And my mate who made The Great Gatsby.
I'll bet you've caught up with Quentin.
No, not yet, but we might end up at La Porchetta one day for lunch.
Oh, do you think?
I think he's got a script he wants to show me. Speaking of movies and speaking of showbiz, a very notable event happened on this day in 1896, the birth of George Burns, the comedian who lived to be 100. And I'm telling you that because it was announced in the news today, and you're going to love this. You love biographies on
I know
screen.
what you're going to say.
Stan and Ollie, the Laurel and Hardy story,
Yes,
is to be put on the big screen, starring Steve Coogan and John C. Reilly, and it's going to deal with how they came to terms with the end of their careers. Should be a fascinating movie.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. It should have been done years ago, perhaps.
Steve Coogan played in Philomena,
Yes?
a movie recently, a great film too.
Okay, didn't see it.
And he looks, well, dissimilar to Stan Laurel. I mean,
Was that about Irish nuns and
Yes.
adopted children?
That's right, exactly.
Yes, I knew about it.
And starred the wonderful
Perhaps it had Judi Dench.
Judi Dench.
Yes.
A wonderful role.
Yes, you raved about it when you saw it.
Yes, I did, and so he's playing Stan. John C. Reilly playing Oliver Hardy, and he,
Yes.
of course, is almost identical in looks.
Yes.
The much-loved double act.
Yes, so won't that be a movie to look forward to?
Well, it's an emotional tribute to two of the funniest men in movie history. The big doubt as to who would remember them.
Oh, yes, but even if you're discovering them for the first
Yeah,
time.
true, absolutely.
But it brings me...
I mean, the Three Stooges have never lost their glamour.
No, the people still recall them with affection. So it brings me to the topic, who in all the world is your favourite comic?
Well, I've got what other team would make a good tribute?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, well,
Yes.
and there's the obvious. We don't want to list them right now.
Give me one choice and I'll give you one.
Well, I suppose the obvious. Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis.
It came to mind to me too. Wouldn't that be a story and a half?
Yeah.
Yes, and what about Abbott and Costello? Were they greatly loved?
Yes, yes.
They had an edge to them, didn't they?
They did, didn't they?
Oh, they irritated me.
Yeah, a little bit with me,
It was
too.
always Abbott and Costello chased the Wolfman or Abbott and Costello.
They were their tie out and flipping the tie in their face.
Yeah, it was a bit ugly, I think. But there you are. So there's a couple of ideas. Your favourite comic of all
So that's
time?
really down any double act, isn't it, really?
Oh, there are so many.
How many more?
Oh, George Burns and Gracie Allen?
Yeah, I suppose.
Oh, yes. Fred Allen and Jack Benny always had a feud going.
Now we're really going back to the Ark.
I am, because I'm older than you and I remember these people fondly. We'll have to deal with the same thing eventually, like Stan and Ollie did.
Oh, I doubt that very much. What, Nightline?
No, coping with the end of our careers.
Oh, rubbish.
Well, we do agree. Will we know when... What I want to ask you is, will we know when to quit or will we have to walk away?
No, we knew last Wednesday night.
Why? What happened
But
then?
nothing.
No, I plan to stay for years.
Oh, you aren't.
I'm stuck to this seat.
Absolute rock.
Our number is on digital DAB+, 96900 693.
Now listen, tonight again, everyone, this is terribly important. Well, not terribly important, it's a lot of fun. A double return ticket to any Tiger Air destination in Australia, thanks to Tiger Air, flying from the new Terminal 4 at Melbourne International Airport. Now, when you hear the song, He's a Tiger, He's a Tiger.
We can play it now as a sample only. Don't ring in now.
Don't ring in now, for heaven's sake. But it will be awarded at various times through the night, well, at least twice, when you're on the air and we hear the song.
I'm a tiger, I'm a tiger, I'm a tiger, I'm a tiger.
So, folks, immediately tonight, you're off to Brisbane, Adelaide, Cairns, Coffs Harbour, Darwin, Gold Coast. Hobart, Melbourne, Perth, Sydney, or the Whitsunday Coast.
But there's more.
Oh ho! Tell us about the major draw, Philip.
Bruce Mansfield, don't you hate that? It's all about Bali, return airfares and a week's accommodation for a whole family at the Hotel Mercure Bali Legion, thanks to Tiger Air, who fly direct from Melbourne to Bali starting on the 23rd of March.
Okay, so we'll be awarding that through the night to the caller. Doesn't have to be the best call of the night, but some newcomer to the show hasn't won anything for some time.
So wait out for that song and win your trip interstate.
Okay, 3AW Wangaratta, good evening to you and to Q Endon. Lovely to have you at the tail end of another day for Nightline.
Beautiful day too, weather-wise. I thought reached about 30 degrees. I was thinking of going down to Middle Park or something, wading in the water with Oro, but I chose not to. It was not convenient to do so, but I wish I lived closer to the beach on a day like today.
You could have. I think that would have been a wonderful excursion.
Would it be safe to take him down to the river, or could he be, you know, sucked down river?
Well, what's down there to suck him down river?
Well, I just wondered about the tides on the Yarra. I mean,
how many tides have you seen in the Yarra?
I mean, would he jump off Cairns Bridge and have a little paddle and come back to me?
Yeah, well, would you if he did?
Oh, perhaps I would.
Yeah, I don't.
Although the water's so polluted down there, isn't it?
Oh, well, it's put paid to that, hasn't it?
Well, I'm thinking about it, but I don't want to put him at risk, you know.
Okay, we're back with more. Jeff, thank you for your call. We'll take more of those through the night on 96900 693.
Okay, why don't we talk to Jeff before the break? Hello, Jeff.
Oh, g'day there, guys. Actually, Cairns Bridge brings back some memories. Phil, yeah, and it certainly is a bit polluted down there now, I'm sure. That was one of the first swing-type bridges we had, wasn't it, here? Like,
yes.
Yeah, cable-type bridges, yeah. I used to go there as a young kid and try and get the thing to rock as much as it possibly could.
Yes,
you know?
we all did.
Yes.
What I was ringing about, guys, when you mentioned George Burns, straight away it flashed into my head was, remember that advertisement that he did, and it was all to do with him turning 100 and then something else turning 100, and Ken tells me he thinks it was the AFL, but is that your recollection of that ad?
I believe it was. I do believe that. It was the centenary. It was something to do with a milestone in the AFL.
Absolutely, Jeff.
Yeah, and he was a wonderful character, wasn't he? I just, yeah, it was just, so anyway, it was just a quick call to ask what that ad was, and yeah, as I said, Ken seemed to have it, or was pretty sure he did, but yeah, so anyway, great talking to you again, guys, and I'll talk again later.
Always a pleasure to have you on, and you've always got something to say. Jeff, thank you.
Have we got that ad from 1996?
I think we may have. Have a listen.
Clubs full of guys with great bodies? Yeah, I'd like to see that.
I hear you guys worship Aussie rules. Hey, what sort of religion is that?
Desmond Tutu. Welcome back, 693.
Game that's lasted longer than me. I'd like to see that.
George Burns celebrating 100 years of the AFL. No, we're not behind the scene here. This is just a memory.
How good to hear that again, and it was one of the last things George did, because he died that very year.
Oh,
so,
did he?
I think it might have been his last public appearance.
Now, listen, welcome back to 693. Good to have you back with us, part of the old team. We've already talked about reforming two great stars to act out the life of Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy. Steve Coogan and John C. Reilly have been contracted to play the much-loved double act, an emotional tribute to two of the funniest men in movie history. What other team would make a great tribute, Phil?
Yes, a good thought, Bruce. And also, who's your favourite comic of all time? And don't forget, tonight, if you've just tuned in, we'll be awarding that Tiger Air Prize again to two of you in the next 2 hours when you hear the song I'm a Tiger.
That's right. When you're on the air with us and there's the thumbs up and she sings the song, you are off to, well, anywhere in Australia of your choice.
And maybe 2 weeks later, off to Bali.
So that's fabulous to wait around for, isn't it? The Tiger Air destination. And you'll be leaving from the new Terminal 4 at Melbourne International Airport.
I've run out of things to say. Why don't we take a break?
Steve, what, 15 minutes and you're all done?
I've sort of dried up already.
Well, What's going to happen in the next 3/4 hour?
I'll come good in 3 minutes, I promise.
What, have you got some ointment?
No, but I have some
Oh,
ideas.
go and have a swim with the dog.
Dennis.
Good evening, open for business on 3AW's Nightline on 96900 693. And Andrew joins us, Phil.
Hello, Andrew.
Phil, how are you? And how are you? You there?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
we're both fine,
yeah.
thank you.
Good.
I just wanted to mention my name, Andrew Fisher. Do you remember who he was?
He was a great Prime Minister.
He was the first Labor Prime Minister of Australia.
Yes.
And I was lucky enough to be related and named after him.
How marvellous.
Yeah, I'm famous. Ho, ho.
Oh, well, good on you. Can you trace the family tree?
Have done, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, the reason for my call, boys, is I'm the creator of what's known as the Australian National Flag Montage.
Yes.
And I noticed on Sunrise this morning that there was a competition for another design of a flag. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of a history about the flag. It started off in 1901. There was a competition and about 2,500 people entered it. And a chap by the name of Mr. Evans won it. And I was lucky enough to meet his son earlier on when I was doing the flag montage. And basically, I really want to mention it's a masterpiece. It's a piece that will be admired forever and spoken about forever. And looking at it, it just really makes you feel proud. It's got the Australian flag, the history, the national anthem, state flags in their history, and the service flags in their history. And it can be endorsed by Bruce Ruxton, if you remember old Brucey. If not, if people wish to have a personalised engraved plate done, we can do that for them.
And how do they go about that, Andrew?
It's very simple. If they look up www.cosnar, that's KOSNAR.com.au, they can view it on the website, and they can order it through Cosnar, which is info@cosnar.com.au. They can phone him, Dennis Cosnar, great picture framer. Cosnar's framing in Pascoe Vale, 9370-5344.
Right.
Or if not, they can ring me direct.
Yes, you're turning this into a bit of a commercial. Why don't you perhaps buy a schedule on 3AW to tell the world?
Or just give us an internet address, some contact, right?
Yes, certainly. Well, the internet address is www.cosnar.com.au.
Yes, all right.
All right.
And that phone number, again, you started?
Dennis's is 9370
Yes.
5744.
All right.
I'm more than happy for people to ring me direct if they like.
And how much is the flag? How expensive?
It's $250.
Yeah. Well, you know, as I suggest, maybe you do some advertising on 3AW to get the word around, Andrew.
Well, I don't think he's going to ring in and get a schedule for $300,000 for the next 6 months. But a little plug is fine, and we've gone with that. And thank you, Andrew. I just hope the flag never changes. Do you?
Oh, over my dead body.
Oh, please. No,
I'll leave Australia if it does. I'll go to Borneo and you'll never see me again.
What might happen? Perhaps if the flag does change, maybe it would be quite refreshing.
It'll be goodbye, Bruce.
23 minutes past 10. Sahara, good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Nice to talk to you.
Oh, that's kind of you to say that.
Yes, okay.
And you seem a bit more cheerful than the other day. The other day you sounded a bit really tired like.
Oh, no, we're never tired. We're often busy, you know, if we have cricket and tennis and other
Anyway, what's
commitments.
doing, Sahara?
That's exactly true, isn't it? Well, you know, I want to make another song and I call it Dry Up. I think you die once bitten, twice shy.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And Dry Up is one of the old sayings. Don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
Dry up.
Dry
What
up.
you tell the politicians if they keep
Oh, dry up. All right.
Yeah,
Okay,
dry up.
let's do it, Sahara.
Well, I haven't made that song yet, but I'm in the process of trying to
Right.
fix that one up.
Yes.
But what I wanted to let you two gentlemen know is for the charity watch and everything, I think I've got a song that would maybe nice for you to be able to hear and your listeners. And you may like to hear, would you like to hear Born Again or the Born Again song?
Yeah, anything you
Born
like,
Free?
anything you'd like, Sahara, that'd be great.
Or do you like the La Vie en Rose?
Yeah, okay.
No, I'd like Born Again.
The Born Again one is the Born Free one.
All right,
yes.
let's hear it.
We
Because,
love
you
that.
know, Mr Turnbull, he's turning around a lot of bull.
Okay, let's hear the song.
It's coming on now.
Yes, we'll wait for it.
Phil, an upset is certainly brewing here. Australian Daria Gavrilova playing Czech 6th seed Petra Kvitova. Gavrilova won the first set 6-4 and is leading 5-2 in the second set. Gavrilova ranked 39 in the world, up against the world number 7. So she could be walking away into the third round. Meantime, Nick Kyrgios has already got there. He's beaten Uruguayan Pablo Cuevas in straight sets to set up a third round clash with Czech Thomas Berdych. Fellow Aussie Omar Jasica, no such luck for him. He went down in straight sets to Joe Wilfried Tsonga, and Novak Djokovic cruising along nicely, the world number 1. He's leading 6-1, 6-2 and is 4-5 in the third in his second round match.
Okay, thank you, Alexandra Factor at the Australian Open.
Would you love to be there, Bruce?
Oh man, would I ever. I'd be playing centre court.
Be no one there to watch you.
Thanks. 10:30 it is, and who's there? Maureen at Nidri, Phil.
Hello, Maureen.
Oh, good evening, gentlemen. You were asking before for the comics. Growing up, I loved Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis.
Hey, oh, yes, we all did, yes.
And locally, I loved Geoff Allen.
Oh, yeah, he was a wonderful human being.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm phoning for.
Oh, thanks.
Good. A very good selection too, both local and overseas.
Yeah, nice call, Maureen.
Thank you, Maureen. 10:30 as we go to Mulgrave, Phil.
Hello, Janet.
Hi, Phil. Hi, Bruce.
Yes.
How are you both?
Good, Janet.
That's good. Listen, I was just ringing up just in light of what you were saying about, the olden days, your Laurel and Hardy's, Abbott and Costello, people taking their parts. And I really just wanted to let you know about my 89-year-old dad, who's just moved into a retirement village, and how well he's doing at the moment.
Oh, isn't that good?
And the fact that also he, at this retirement village, he's engaging himself and joining in all the activities, etc. And they have a wonderful cinema there where they play all these wonderful old films. And recently, my children and I went to visit Dad, and we sat through a movie and we watched Casablanca with him, with Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. And, there's just no replacing the classics.
Sure.
And for the kids to sit there with their poppy and, just listen and watch, it's really wonderful. So I just really wanted to share that.
Well, it's lovely to share that with Grandpa.
And what's his name, Janet?
His name is Charles.
Oh, Charles, if you're listening, we wish you well.
How are you feeling, Janet? Are you all composed about it all?
There's a bit of a waver in my voice.
Yes,
because,
there is, I can tell.
Well, we lost Mum about 18 months ago.
Yeah.
And it's a big change for Dad, and at 89 years of age, we're just so proud of him because he really just wanted to give up. But I tell you, these places that are available to people now, it gives them a second lease on life.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, Janet.
Second lease on life, really scared the living daylights out of me. Listen, this is going to be a big choice on your part. You're going to go somewhere in Australia from Tiger Air.
Oh, wow.
Anywhere at all. Brisbane, Adelaide, I won't go through them, Coffs Harbour, Darwin, Gold Coast, Hobart, Melbourne, Perth, Sydney and the Whitsunday Coast. And at the end of that, there's a 2-week holiday for you and the family.
Maybe.
That's up for grabs, or the draw, for the major prize of return airfares and a week's accommodation for the family at the Hotel Mercure Bali Legion, thanks to Tiger Air.
Oh, Bruce and Phil, thank you so much.
Yeah, I don't suppose Charles is well enough to go anywhere with you, is he?
Well, look, I'm not really sure, but you know what, Phil and Bruce, nothing's impossible.
No, of course not. Now, we're going to leave it with you. You can, all the discussion, all the planning will go on, so there's plenty of time for that.
Thank you so much to you both. That was quite unexpected.
I know.
But, really lovely.
And I think it'll come at a very good time for you and Dad to get settled and just the dust to settle.
Oh, look, it's wonderful. Thank you.
All right, Janet, now, just don't hang up now, and just hold on for Ken, and he'll organise it from our end.
Thank you, Bruce and Phil.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. That'll happen again in the next hour, by the way, folks. And of course, now, the big news is Tiger Air depart from the new Terminal 4 at Melbourne Airport. And in 2 weeks, Janet, or one of you is going to win that wonderful prize Bruce talked about in Bali.
Yes. Okay, we'll go to Paul at Mornington. Are you there, Paul?
Good evening, guys.
Yes.
Love your show.
Thank you.
Just very quickly, two of my favourite comedians were Benny Hill and Ronnie Barker. I grew up with those. I just love both of them.
Oh, you did? Yeah, yeah. Tell us why. Tell us why.
Look, I just thought they were very clever. I wasn't allowed to watch the dances on Benny Hill. I was too young. But the rest of it, I just thought his cheeky smile made me laugh.
Yes.
Even when I didn't even think the joke was very funny.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say to Bruce, those little noises you make in the background, mate, I'm driving home. I almost ran off the road when I hear you do stuff like that. So you've got to stop it.
Good on you, Paul. Thank you very much.
You don't miss a thing.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, mate, thank you for the call.
All right, Paul.
Actually, we're pairing, aren't we, well-known people who have worked together
Yes.
in light of Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy, and a little tribute to them on TV that's being made at the moment.
I tell you what I'd enjoy to see. It would be purely local, only for Australian consumption, and not on the big screen, only a one-off TV special. The Maury Fields story, Maury and Val and their life together, and all the wonderful achievements they made, and including young Marty as well.
What's that?
A story, a biog on...
Yeah, I know, I realise that. But
what would you call it?
Maury and Val?
Or Fields of Fame. There you are. I've got a name for it already. Okay, I'd like to watch that. Marty could be in it himself, playing himself.
Oh, it'll make good to Marty, is it?
What about a Bruce and Phil biog?
No.
Are we ready for that, Jeff?
No way, no. 24 to 11 can work for you.
More than that, such a beaut bloke. Some of my best times I've spent with Ian and Naomi. They're very special people.
When? What happened?
Oh, well, I went to their wedding at Montserrat, and we've travelled overseas together.
Where overseas?
Oh, we did the River Kwai together. We did the Danube and the Rhine.
Together intentionally, and you booked all together?
Yes, and Jill and Naomi, and we went as a foursome.
Did
yes.
you?
Oh, yeah.
And what happened?
We enjoy each other's company. We just click somehow.
So what's the next big adventure?
Darwin. Darwin, perhaps.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a bit of a come down.
Yeah, I don't want to go to... I want to see Australia first, Bruce.
All right, 19 to 11, 3AW. This is Nightline.
And we're going to the Herald Sun.
Herald Sun now, the news desk, and Michelle Ainsworth. Michelle, good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Can we look at the Thursday Herald Sun, please?
Yes, so tomorrow's front page, we've got a story on Tennis Australia, who's obviously busy with the Australian Open at the moment, but they're in a bit of trouble with the state government because they've got a deal, a partnership agreement with a betting agency which is allowing betting in play, so while games are happening, which is very controversial and is being looked into by the federal police. So a bit of controversy for Tennis Australia in the midst of the tournament at the moment.
And what else is in the paper?
We've got an interesting one here about some cruise ship passengers who were supposed to go to New Caledonia but only went to Melbourne and Hobart on their cruise because of a cyclone, and they're now taking a class action, and in some court documents it has been revealed that the bosses of the cruise ship were aware that there was a cyclone coming and that they wouldn't get to their destination before they even boarded the ship. But they still boarded and went on a big trip from Sydney to Hobart to Melbourne.
Oh, how disappointing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they were on their way overseas.
All right, is that all, Michelle?
And we also have the hit lift out as well.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank
the
you.
Herald Sun tomorrow. 18 to 11.
Did you put yours in the freezer like was suggested to peel off the plastic?
Yes, I went and had dessert. I went and had some 3 wheat picks and some pineapple.
Yeah.
Went back, it was frozen stiff.
And it peels off easily?
No, hang on. It was like it had been left out in the damp all night and been pouring in the gutter.
Oh, and all the pages were soggy?
No, but the stuff came off so quickly and easily.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll try that in the morning.
Yeah.
Thanks for the tip.
Oh, good on you. Queenie, good evening.
Oh, good evening, Bruce. I think you should have eaten the paper.
I think I might have too.
Oh, that's funny. Now, I'm going to have Seinfeld and George and Elaine and, what's his name, Cosmo. I think they're fantastic.
I do too.
modern day. I can watch them all the time, Bruce and Phil.
Oh, I can.
I love them. And Frasier,
Yeah, oh,
another one.
gorgeous.
Yes, but the olden times, well, I used to watch Laurel and Hardy and Fat and Skinny, as we called them.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
They were so funny. They were funny. I hope they don't spoil it by putting somebody on that doesn't really look like them. And, of course, Charlie Chaplin was one of our favourites.
Yeah.
He was in silent pictures too, but I think if we're going back that far, well, Abbott and Costello, I wasn't keen on them too much.
Not as much, no.
No, not as much as Laurel and Hardy. And he'd smack poor old Laurel down, you know, and he'd go up again, you know. Oh, it was so funny.
Yeah.
I thought he was very funny. Anyway, boys, it's great to hear.
All right, Queenie, thanks for the suggestion of the pairing of the Hollywood greats in light of Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy in a tribute that they're doing for them.
Yeah, nice call. Thanks, Queenie.
96900 Margaret of Dramana, good evening.
Good evening, Bruce. I would like to, it's a bit different to what you're talking about tonight. It would have been better last night, but at Probus Club today here in Dramana, we had a guest speaker, Peter Smith.
Oh, lovely.
It was one of the best speakers we've ever had. We laughed and laughed with him.
Yes, you would.
Yeah, and we heard a lot about Phil too.
Oh, yes, he's got a few stories.
Yes, and his wife Jackie, she was come along as well.
Oh, how lovely.
And it was just a wonderful day. But if it had been yesterday with the memories of GTV9 last
yes,
night,
yeah.
I'm a day late, but it only happened today.
That's right.
Oh, how wonderful for you all, Margaret.
But we all thoroughly enjoyed it and really appreciated the way the presentation he did.
Yeah, he gives a wonderful talk.
Yes, I've never known an hour to go so quick.
Oh, it would have too.
Yeah,
yes.
that's high praise indeed for Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a wonderful morning we had.
I'll be having lunch with him tomorrow. I'll tell him, Margaret.
Well, you'll be able to tell him.
I will.
Yes. So,
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marg. That was lovely. Nice call. Good night. Alan at Faulkner, good evening.
Oh, Bruce and Phil.
Yeah.
The chap Andrew before suggested that Andrew Fisher was the first Labor Prime Minister. Actually, he was the second. The first Labor Prime Minister was John Christian Watson.
Oh, yeah? How long did he serve?
Oh, he only a couple of years. And then he was lost to George Reed and then someone else. And then Andrew Fisher.
All right.
Okay.
I don't think most people would be aware of that.
No, but thanks for setting us straight on that one, Alan. I appreciate that very much. Our number on anything you'd like to talk about tonight, of course, with the chance of travelling anywhere in Australia with Tiger Air, that's a nice incentive for you to call through.
I'd love to hear from people who are using that overpass now in Burke Road, how much easier it must be than waiting for the boom gates. Now that they've put the train underground there in
That
Burke
is going,
Road.
is it? That's operational, is it?
Absolutely.
You know that for sure?
Absolutely is now.
You haven't used that yourself?
No, don't need to. No more delays there. So is it working for you folks? Are you saving some time? I bet you are, but it's a godsend to you.
Okay, 96900 693, that's our number.
Richard's in Rye. Bruce, hello, Richard.
G'day, gentlemen.
G'day.
How are we all?
Excuse me?
Yes, good, thanks, yep.
Yeah, that's good. I meant to ring up about something else, but first of all, I was wondering, Rosemary Margan.
Yeah.
Whatever happened with Rosemary Margan?
I know the story because we received a Christmas card from her. She's married to Neil Mitchell's brother, Ross, and they're happily living on the Gold Coast in Queensland.
Oh, okay, because I never ever heard whether, and I'm just wondering, because, I grew up listening to her.
Yeah,
That's right, of course, yeah.
She's up at Main Beach and still does ads for 3AW.
So she's in all good health and all of that.
Yeah, very good.
That's good. Okay.
What else?
All right.
Sorry?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, when you're talking about the comedians or comedies and whatnot, you probably know yourselves, but Laurel and Hardy They were cool, but they didn't get along off the screen.
Apparently not.
No, and also Bud Abbott and Costello and Abbott Costello, they didn't get along at all.
No, they did Martin and Lewis.
No, that's right. And you know what it all got down to?
No.
They're both of them, well, all of the three of them, three comedian acts, they all, one was Jewish, one was Italian.
I don't think that would have anything to do with it.
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Oh,
I'm only not even suggesting that. Supposedly, like Costello, he looked like the fool on the stage.
Yes.
But he wasn't in real life.
No, he was not.
Often that's the way it is, yes.
Yeah. But anyway, that's what I was ringing, and I'm glad to hear that Rosemary Margaret's still kicking.
Yeah, she lives at Main Beach on the Gold Coast.
All right, Richard, thank you.
Beautiful.
Okay. Thank you for calling in tonight. Good night. David, good evening.
Yes, hello, Bruce and Phil, and the top of the evening to you.
Thank you, David.
What's your
Good
story?
on you.
Well, I reckon two good players could reenact Abbott and Costello.
Yeah, good thought, yes.
Tony Abbott and Peter Costello.
Ha!
Very clever, David, yes.
Very good, David.
Funny.
I'll catch you tomorrow night, Bruce.
Listen, Ken, can you organise a Bataki mini easy cut ham for David?
Can Phil get down into the freezer and get the last of them?
I
Phil?
can't. I broke my hip. I can't bend down, guys.
Well, who's going to get it?
Well, go on your back.
I'll get Oro. He'll go and fetch it for us.
All right. Hold on there, David. We'll get a Bataki mini easy cut ham out to you.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce and Phil.
But don't hang up. Ken will be there on his back and all fours, grabbing one with his teeth.
I'll get down and help him, all right?
All right,
Okay, mate.
Just hold the line, please. 10 to 11.
See them. I've planned a special one for you. It's going to be the Mannequin Pea.
What's that mean?
Oh, it's a little boy having a wee-wee.
Yes, what's the famous city?
Oh, that's somewhere in the world. Is it in France somewhere, perhaps?
In, where? It's well known. He's
Yes.
only a tiny figurine.
Yes, that's right. But that's what's going to be
Doing
on.
wheeze in Peru, I think.
That's what's going to be on your tombstone.
Thanks.
Perhaps even number 2s. Picture beautiful imported. I'd like to have lunch with Stan and Paula from Cameo Memorials. They're very human, very down to earth, lovely sense of humour, compassionate people.
I'm busy modelling. Doing that all afternoon tomorrow.
Don't think you'll measure up.
Do squats.
Yes, Cameo Memorials in business since 1874. And Bruce...
Yes.
They're members of the Masters Stonemasons Association.
Your own voice coming in your ear off.
No, I'm sorry. I'm tired of my own voice after all. Can I tell you some good news? This Sunday, the New Melbourne Jazz Band... Can I tell you?
Quick!
Oh, they'll be at the Manhattan Hotel, corner Heatherdale Road and Canterbury Roads in Ringwood. Doors open at noon. The band will play lots of fun jazz from 1 to 4. Seniors lunch and show only $20. Phone 9874 7777 to book a table and enjoy our mates Ross Anderson and the New Melbourne Jazz Band. And they're on their way to the Manhattan Hotel in Ringwood for the very first time. We should be there, Bruce.
Hello again. This is John Doremus with the Passing Parade, the story of the man who put Europe on wheels. His name was André Citroën, and he was once described as a human dynamo with a whim of iron. The description was an apt one, and I'll be back with his story after this message. Born in 1878, André Gustave Citroën showed an interest in engineering from an early age. At 18, he entered the École Polytechnique in Paris to study military engineering. After graduating brilliantly, he abandoned the idea of an army career and opened a small factory to manufacture his own automobile inventions. Before long, he persuaded several leading car manufacturers to adopt his transmission system. But they laughed at his plan to build a car so inexpensive that it would be within the range of anyone with a moderate income. In 1912, Citroën paid his first visit to America, where Henry Ford's celebrated T-model was beginning to win popularity. He obtained practical experience of mass car production, but his plans for mass-producing a car of his own were postponed by World War I, during which he put his immense energy into the manufacture of munitions. By the war's end, more than 30,000 people were employed in works directly under his control, and their output of shells and grenades was astronomical. Some time before, he had worked out plans for turning his ammunition plants over to automobile production. Within 7 months of the signing of the armistice in November of 1918, the factory had been tooled up and the first Citroën cars were trickling off the assembly line. The trickle developed into a flood which carried the name of André Citroën all over the world, as well as his fame. His success as a wartime administrator paled before his phenomenal achievements as a car manufacturer. France had never seen anything like it. He was a firm believer in advertising and was the biggest advertiser in Europe. His road signs finger-posted every road in France, Belgium, and Switzerland, and many in Spain and Italy, while 200 newspapers in various languages carried his full-page advertisements to 50 million readers every week. To publicize his cars, Citroën once took over the Eiffel Tower and installed a gigantic flashing electric sign. André Citroën's fall was as dramatic as his rise. His peak year was 1929, when he turned out 150,000 cars from factories in France, Italy, and England. The world's economic structure was already showing ominous cracks, but Citroën refused to believe the great years were over. While his competitors retrenched and stopped producing new models, he went ahead with even more grandiose plans. The Depression finished him with tragic speed. A multimillionaire in 1929. He was practically bankrupt by 1934. In a single week, 20,000 men were stood down from the Citroën plant. Shortly after, he was deposed from his position as managing director, and a committee representing the firm's creditors asked his friend and rival, Louis Renault, to take over the management. Renault refused. By the time the huge organization began to recover, André Citroën had ceased to care. The wreck of his life's work brought on an illness that proved fatal. He died in 1935 at the age of 57. Our time is up till we meet again. This is John Doremus, and goodbye for now.
Thanks to the Ian Reid Vendor Advocacy, we now across to the Weather Bureau. Stephen King's over there tonight. G'day, Stephen.
Hello.
Not a bad day.
Yeah, no, it wasn't too bad in the end once that rain cleared in the morning.
Yes.
We got about a millimetre or two out of that.
Good.
But, yeah, we've got a couple of bonus degrees. We got up to 29 at about 3:15 today.
What's the overnight low looking like, Stephen?
We're on 22 now, going down to only 18, given the humidity and the high cloud that's around.
Okay.
Not much happening tomorrow. Fairly good day, actually. Getting up to 27 degrees, but it will be reasonably humid, so it'll probably feel a bit hotter than that.
Yep.
A little bit warmer out in the suburbs, of course, getting up to 29 and even 31 out in the Yarra Valley.
Okay, and a bit of rain on the way Friday.
Yeah, that'll come through sort of tomorrow night, Friday morning, much like it did today, sort of some early morning rain. And then that'll clear. And it'll be kind of like today, so we'll have a clear patch maybe around the late morning, early afternoon, and then we'll see some thunderstorms develop Friday afternoon. So we'll probably see some heavy falls out of those as well.
Oh, good.
So I'm saying, yeah, 8 to 25 millimetres there on Friday, but, yeah, getting up to 28 degrees, probably in between that rain and the afternoon thunderstorms.
Okay, and how's the weather for the tennis at the weekend, please?
Yeah, a bit cooler once that trough goes through on the Friday, back to 24 on the Saturday, much the same on Sunday, 24 degrees there. Just a morning drizzle both days. That humidity should go away by Saturday as well. And then just remaining cool into the early parts of next week, 23 on Monday, and yeah, still just low 20s.
So, Australia Day holiday, when's that, Phil?
That will be next Tuesday. Is that 23 degrees, is it, for Tuesday?
24 we've got for Tuesday.
No, good. And sunny?
Nice barbecue weather.
All right, Stephen.
Possible shower, yeah.
Thank you very much indeed, Stephen. A low of 18 degrees, a very warm to mild night on the way, a humid day tomorrow, top of 27 degrees forecast.
I think I'll be sleeping with one leg out tonight.
Do you think so?
Just for circulation, ventilation.
Completely naked?
No, buddy, I wear pyjamas.
Oh, no, I understand that, but the leg would be uncovered.
Oh, yes, will be, as long as Oro doesn't decide to chew on it.
Good. 3AW Wangarattack, 2QN Littlequin, good evening to you. And Tony of Glen Iris joins us, Phil.
Hi, Tony.
Hello, boss. How are you?
G'day.
One of you were mentioning just before about the Burke Road Gardner Railway crossing being removed.
I believe it's been open now to traffic, is that true?
It is true. I live only about sort of 300 or 400 metres from there, and so I saw the whole thing happen firsthand, and it really was one of the most amazing engineering feats you would ever see.
Goodness me.
because the closing of Burke Road going across the railway line was kept to only a couple of days.
Oh.
Well, maybe a few days. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. But the trams they were replaced by buses, and they diverted round via Glen Ira Station, so that actual tram service wasn't really interrupted at all. It was an amazing effort. And then they put in the boom gates and everything just in one night, and all the neighbours were down there. There were stacks of people. Everything was floodlit while they did the whole thing during the night just to get it open, and it is incredible. It was absolutely amazing to see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad that you're getting credit where it's due. We hear so much knocking of this and knocking of that, and when they did such a precision, as you've said, good on them.
Well, it was a massive bottleneck for years, as you guys. I'm sure you guys would have driven down there plenty of times.
Absolutely.
Absolute nightmare. And when they put the freeway through, originally they should have taken they should have gone over the train line then.
Well, of course.
But of course that was all political at the time.
Yes.
But it really was something extraordinary to see just how well planned it was. And because you guys would probably be familiar with Gardner Shopping Centre.
Yeah.
Well, that's essentially a ghost town now. One side's gone, the other side there's nothing open. Even that chemist on there, that chemist on the corner.
Yes.
Which was like a late night chemist. That is no more.
Oh.
So Gardner's basically been obliterated. You probably remember when you were a lot younger, when I was a lot younger too, the Gardner toy shop.
No, I remember Gardner Creek used to flood at times.
Yeah, that's right. They fixed all that up a while ago. Yeah, but the Gardner toy shop was a bit of a landmark because there weren't that many toy shops around.
Okay.
But no, anyway, well, I think that they do deserve credit for doing just amazingly efficient planning.
Yes. I wish I'd do Glenferrie Road, Kooyong next, but it's not on the list.
Gee, that's a bottleneck, isn't it?
Oh, it can be. Very slow there, yes.
Yeah, I think they've got a policy to gradually remove them one by one.
Yeah.
But again, what's it going to do to the shops there? They'll probably have to go, or if they take the train line, very deep underneath Glenferrie Road.
Yeah, these shopping centres become ghost towns, yes.
They do, yeah.
All right, great story, Tony. Thank you.
Okay, then.
Tony, a good call. Tony?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to hold on. Ken, would you get on your stomach and just nuzzle down and get a Batocchi mini easy cut ham from the ice chest?
Well, there's not many left.
Okay, this is Batocchi, simply the best. There's one in the corner over there in that darkened alcove. Batocchi. Would you hold on, Tony?
Okay, thanks very much for that.
We'll get that ham to you, and thank you for a good call, and a very positive call about some work being done in Melbourne.
Yes, most talkback calls are always negative.
Hold on, Tony. Rob, good evening.
Good evening, Bruce. Good evening, Phil. How are you sounding? Very chipper tonight, both of you.
Oh, yeah, we're having a bit of fun. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, I'm lying on the bed here, listening to you on the radio, having an early night.
Yeah.
And first off, I'm going to say Eric Morecambe and Ernie Wise.
Oh, they're good. That's a great suggestion, because they're already a double act, and I think that's a great idea.
The two Ronnies.
Yes.
Oh, good one.
There was another one, Ronnie Barker and David Jensen in Open All Hours.
Uh-huh. Oh, yes.
It was a very good comedy in the 70s.
Uh-huh.
And talking about the previous gentleman, talking about Burke Road, it is so wonderful. And when we drive to 72, we come around the corner from Malvern Road, and we whiz down the hill. There's only the T-light. There's no slowing to 15 Ks. There's no insulators. There's no bump, bump, bump. You whiz into the new platform station, you look up, you've got the T-light for the bridge traffic, and zoom, you're gone.
Yes, that's great.
And from possibly sitting there for 15, 20 minutes with trains, to you're through the whole thing in a minute and a half.
They'll have to do a new timetable, won't they?
That's terrific,
and
Rob.
Coming off the freeway to go to work, or coming from work, you come off the ramp, and sometimes you could sit there for 20 minutes just to get from the ramp onto Burke Road to get up across the intersection.
Madness.
Now, just around the corner, boom, gone.
Yes.
It's lovely.
Oh, well, from a tram driver's point of view, that's great recommendation for the work they've done there.
Yes, they've done a really good job.
Okay, Rob.
Have a good night, gentlemen.
Okay, Rob.
I'll leave you to it.
Degrees. Mary at Baldwin joins us. Hello, Mary.
Oh, hello, Bruce and Philip.
Yes, hi, Mary.
Quite a hot one tonight. On the topic of comedians, my favourites were the classic Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. However, I used to just adore watching the English girls in the 80s in Absolutely Fabulous. Rana Lumley and the other girl, that was Patsy and Nadina were their character names.
Yes.
Joanna Lumley. Oh, they were just absolutely fabulous, I guess. I loved watching that show. But also a couple of our Aussie ones, Kaz and Kim.
Oh, good thought.
Yeah. Yes. Glenn Robbins, we're getting Australian now. Glenn Robbins and Magda Zabansky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good suggestions there.
Yeah, that'd be good subjects in movies.
Who was the old lady that got round in the sidecar in that in the motorbike? You know, with the. Do you remember those two? Anyway, no. Good suggestions, Mary. Though of teaming up people who are getting together as old teams now that Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy are being reunited.
And I think you're thinking, Bruce, of the Two Fat Ladies.
Is that their names?
That's what their show was
in
called.
That sidecar. It was hysterical.
Great fun. Good, Mary.
Okay, Mary, thanks so much. John at North Baldwin.
G'day, Bruce. G'day, Phil.
Hi, mate.
Good, fine, thanks. I just wanted to say the mannequin piece you were talking about before, that little monument, that's in Rue de Monde in Brussels, in Belgium.
Ah, yes, in a little alleyway, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah, not very impressive looking.
And it's not just only about 3 or 4 inches tall. And it's
very, very small. Bit larger.
Is it? Yeah.
A little bit larger, but a great tourist attraction.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah. And that Two Fat Ladies show, they were two chefs or two cooks.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, good, John. Thank you very much for that.
No problem.
That's very kind. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night. Gabriella, good evening.
Oh, good evening, my darlings. I just have been watching opera, and something brought a sparkle to my mind that I have so much enjoyed. It was do you remember when we had, pantomime?
Yeah, of course.
The last pantomime I saw in Sydney was Bert Newton. It was Cinderella. Bert Newton. Well, you had to have seen it. It was hilarious.
Yes.
And they had the kids with all their little wands and things. Darling, half of the dialogue went over the children's head, but the oldies knew what they were talking about. But the whole production gave such joy. Everybody laughed and clapped and enjoyed.
Yeah, panto's a thing of the past in Australia, isn't it?
Why?
It's still huge in Britain.
But why here, no?
I don't know, it's a bit old hat, bit passe.
No, it's not. Children don't get old.
Exactly.
I loved it.
Well, you know, the shopping centres often have Christmas pantos, don't they?
No, I saw this in Sydney State Theatre.
Yeah, but a long time ago.
Oh, not that long ago, Philip. Darling, don't you like all that?
Yeah, I love it, but I'm saying it doesn't happen as often as it used to.
Well, what are you going to offer the young ones to have a laugh?
I know.
And stop taking themselves so seriously.
I know the fact. It's their loss we don't have these pantos, yeah.
Well, can you do anything about it?
Well, I'll look into it for you, yes.
Well, start one up then.
Well, not in January, I won't. It's a Christmas attraction.
No, I'm not saying January, but I'm sure there are several actors out there who could fit the part and make the kids laugh.
Yes.
And everybody laughed.
When I was young, I used to love Jim Gerald as Mother Goose.
Who?
Jim Gerald, a Tivoli comedian.
No, I wasn't around then.
No,
None of us were. Okay, Gabriella, thank you. Okay, across to the Australian Open. Is it all over yet, Alexandra?
Yes, we are all wrapped up here for the evening. 2 Australians have progressed tonight. Nick Kyrgios and Daria Gavrilova both securing safe passage through to the 3rd round. Kyrgios in straight sets over Uruguayan Pablo Cuevas, while Daria Gavrilova, a big upset this evening. She's defeated 6th seed Petra Kvitova, also in straight sets. Among the others to advance tonight, Novak Djokovic, the defending champion, 4th seed Agnieszka Radwanska, while Australian Australian Omar Jessica went down to Joe Wilfried Songer. And tomorrow we're in for quite a treat. Sam Groth, the big serving Australian, he comes up against Andy Murray, the second seed. The night session headlined by Leighton Hewitt up against 8th seed David Ferrer. And Bernard Tomic also plays his second round match against Simone Bolelli.
Okay, thank you for your reports tonight, Alexandra Factor at the Australian Open.
I think I might get us a couple of ground passes for the Garden Court on Saturday. I think we'd love it.
Do you think?
My shout.
All right.
Yeah, it'd be less than $100.
How much?
Less than $100 each.
Is it really?
I imagine, yes.
Is it?
And
Yeah.
you can shout lunch and drinks.
No. No, we'll take our own, a thermos flask and a pasty.
I don't know. You are allowed to arrive. They might frisk you on the way in.
Doesn't matter. I'll stick it in a plain wrapper. No one will know.
I'll stick it in your underpants.
A low of 18 degrees. That's going to be the tenor of Saturday afternoon. Imagine me with a pasty and him. A low of 18 degrees, humid tomorrow, and a high of 27, and a bit of rain on the way for Friday.
Here's a pal of ours, Norma of Briar Hill.
Yes, Norma.
Hi, Bruce and Phil.
Yes, good.
Now, look, a good comedy show I loved long time ago. I Love Lucy and Two Fat Ladies. I love those two programs.
Yes.
And look, a couple of things, folks. Can I wish Lindsay, one of our callers, good luck with his health problems?
Yes, of course.
And we're all thinking of you, Lindsay.
Nice call.
And look, fellas, I'm enjoying watching the tennis.
Yes.
And it's wonderful. And what about the flies? Are you trouble with the flies?
Yes, we all are.
Look, I was waiting for the bus this morning, and the blasted fly wouldn't get away from
I know.
and it's terrible.
Oh.
Well, look, have a good day tomorrow, fellas.
Okay, love. Thank you, Norma.
Good night.
Good night. Cameron at Berwick. Hello, Cameron.
Oh, good evening, or almost good morning. Good morning, Boss and Philip and Ken there, Kensters. Yes, you're talking about. It's funny how you have like these comedy duos, and they're usually either two males or two females, but very few you see of a male and female comedy. I suppose Lucille Nez and her hubby.
Yeah, that'll be
That's the only one. I can't think of any off the top.
No.
But male duos, there's heaps. There's dozens and dozens of it. Well, let's Ronnie Corbett and Ronnie Barker, of course. Remember that as a kid a lot, and the Hale and Pace. Remember that as a kid. And do you remember a Canadian comedy duo? I'll just let you try and guess who they might be. One of their they put out a record. One of their recordings on the record was "I Was a TV Addict." Now, Philip might know this.
Well, it was Wayne and Schuster, wasn't it?
Yes, you got that right. Yeah, that's good. Wayne and Schuster. I wonder if they're still alive in the land.
They were marvellous on record. I'd never seen them in the flesh or on television, but wonderful on disc.
They were three of my favourite records were comedies. One was by Bob Newhart, and that was a very big seller. Remember
the driving instructor, wonderful.
Oh yes, and the ledge psychology.
Oh, and the store on the other side of the road.
Yeah, the ledge psychology, and he's trying to tell this guy not to jump off the ledge. Remember that one? They were great, and Wes Harrison was good. He was on his own.
Yes.
Sound effects guy. But I remember that they were the best days. I think the 60s and the 70s for comedies. Don't you agree?
Oh, they were great.
They were just probably...
That was the era of Peter Sellers, the classic songs for Sellers, those wonderful things.
Well, they're my favourite times, Bruce, the 60s and the 70s, because they're unbeatable. Even today, they don't even come close.
No, you're right.
Yeah. All right, boys.
All right, Cameron, thank you. Good call.
Okay.
Okay, mate. Good night, Angela. Good evening.
Hi, Bruce and Phil. How are you?
G'day.
Good. Bruce, I rang you before Christmas. It was about September. And I said to you, I'll be expecting my first grandchild.
That's right, yes.
And anyway, he was born on the 16th of January.
Oh, the darling.
Joseph Andrew.
What a lovely name.
Yeah. And, he's doing beautifully. Went to see him. And, he's fine. She's not getting too much milk yet. So we're still waiting.
How's Grandma, more importantly?
You know what, Bruce? Oh, I'm just so happy. It's the best time. It's going to be the best time of my life.
It is, and it will be, and it'll get better.
You know what? I've got it planned. He's going to be cultured. He's got to go to the theatre.
Yes, that's right.
A lot of things that I didn't do in my life, I want him to do.
Good.
I just want it. I want everything planned out, and I said I'm going to do this for him, that for him. I'll have him 1 day a week. She goes back to work in September. And I'll be looking after the baby 1 day a week.
Oh, you'll love that.
I'm so excited.
It's a whole new world for you, Angela.
You'll plan the day perfectly for both of you.
I've just been waiting and waiting. All I hear is you talking about your grandchildren. I just waited and waited.
They're my life.
I could imagine.
Now, Angela, do you know what that means?
I'm not sure. I think... Is it? It's the Tiger...
Yes, it's the Tiger destination.
Oh.
You have won, thanks to Tiger Air, flying from the new Terminal 4 at the Melbourne International Airport, anywhere in Australia. You don't have to decide now, but you can go to Adelaide, Brisbane, Coffs Harbour, Gold Coast, Hobart, Melbourne, Perth, Sydney, Whitsunday, wherever you'd like to go.
And take someone with you.
Oh, I'd like to take Joseph, but I don't think she'd let me.
No, but what about it? You think about it and you go on that lovely trip.
Oh.
And in the draw then for the major prize of return airfares and a week's accommodation for a family at the Hotel Mercure Bali Legion.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Thanks to Tiger Air.
Oh, thank you both very much, Bruce. I'm so happy with this. I really am, and I'm happy I have my grandchild. I've been waiting.
Now, but you understand that you're on cloud 9 now, and it'll sink in when you've made a decision as to where you want to go.
Oh.
Understand that?
All right, enjoy your holiday, Angela.
Thank you.
Now, don't hang up, for heaven's sake. We want details, and then you, in the next 24, 48 hours, you decide where you'd like to go in Australia, and then, of course, the major prize off to Bali. You're in the draw for that.
Yeah, because as from March 23, Tiger Air fly Melbourne to Bali direct.
Thank you so much, boys.
And I'm so thrilled for you and your bundle of joy.
Happy. I'm so happy.
You're in for a wonderful year.
Oh, thank you.
Hold on, Angela. Don't hang up, for heaven's sake. Okay, who's there, Phil?
It's Maureen at Noble Park. Hello, Maureen.
Hello, Philip. Hello, Bruce.
G'day.
The other man rang up and told you I was going to tell you where that statue was, in Brussels.
Yes, thank you.
And I've got a postcard picture of it that I was sent from there.
Yes.
And it's quite cute, the statue. It's quite hilarious, really.
Yes.
And also, were you talking about who was Australia's first Prime Minister before?
Well, that was Andrew Barton, wasn't it?
No, Sir Edmund Barton.
Oh, Edmund Barton, okay. Barton, yes.
Yeah,
Edmund Barton.
Yeah, Sir Edmund Barton,
Yes.
1901.
All right. What did you want to say about him?
No, we were discussing Prime Ministers. That's the
I
reason.
just felt that somebody rang up and it was
Yes,
the
they
wrong
did.
information.
Yes.
And so I just thought I couldn't go.
I think it was Andrew Fisher or something like that.
Yeah, they rang up about the first Labor
Okay.
Prime Minister.
Yes.
Thanks, Maureen.
Okay, Maureen, thank you. Here's a mate, Bronny. Good evening, Bronny.
Oh, boys, how are you?
G'day, Bronny.
Now, listen, no cracks about no feet to stand on from you two. I've actually had both my feet operated on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I got both done at once. I thought I'd get them over with,
Oh.
So I'm lying back here, looking up at the ceiling, and I'm halfway up the wall, and anyway, in about 2 weeks, I reckon I'll be hanging from the light fitting.
What did you, Bronny, what did you have done?
Well, I advise anyone that's got any feet problems to get it done early. I had a bunion on the left and a couple of other small things, and on the right I had a claw toe, and it ended up I had to have pins in the claw toe on the right, plus the one next to it, because it wouldn't behave. So he had to break them and put the pins in. But look, it's much easier when you get them done early. And you get one lot of anaesthetic, one lot of time off work. You don't abuse your employer.
all at once, yes.
All at once. But look, anyway, that's my history just at the moment, but loving listening to you. And just want to say that my favourite was the two Ronnies. I thought they were mad.
They were.
The way they used to run in and out of the bushes and carry on like a pack of clowns.
Yes.
And when I was up at Southdown Press, which is part of TV Week, I had the opportunity to I used to do the airline bookings for our executives.
Right.
And one of our, you might know him actually, you would know that one of our executives up there would have been R. Corbett. And he was there forever. And hello to Ron Shirley.
What was his name? Ronald. What was his name?
Ron Corbett.
Ron Corbett.
Yeah, but he was at TV Week for years. He was up in the executive area. And Ron was a great bloke. And, of course, you know, at this particular occasion, I had to book him an airfare to Sydney and one of our other executives. Anyway, I booked him into the Intercontinental. And a couple of days before they were due to arrive, I get a very well-meaning phone call from the receptionist, you know, from the reservations.
Right.
And she said to me, is that Mr. Ronnie Corbett? And, of course, I couldn't help it. I said, of course it's Ronnie Corbett. And so when he got up there, he ends up having his room was upgraded. He ended up with champagne, fruit, personal stationery.
Oh, good on you.
You name it. And his mate who went with him ended up staying in the normal room.
Isn't that wonderful?
And when they came back, they couldn't wait to tell me the bit of fun that we had.
Oh, that's great.
But it was good fun, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Of course he's Ronnie Corbett to us, but he wasn't Ronnie Corbett. And she put 2 and 2. TV Week with that thing with them.
Keep your legs up the air, will you?
Oh, listen, I'll ring you again.
Please do. Thank you, Bronnie. Bronwyn of Clyde North.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are we?
G'day, Bronwyn.
G'day. It's funny to say g'day. I'm just up at my local supermarket while the cherubs are asleep. It's the only time I can get out. Looking at some beautiful lamb for Australia Day. I just segue into that, meaning, have you been hearing all the latest kerfuffle about the advertisements?
What a load of rubbish.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And you know what? If the ones who are upset at the moment, and then, well, honestly, I don't mean to upset or offend anyone anymore in regards to the ones who are upset with these lamb ads, they wouldn't like to be in the United Kingdom with the ads that this burger company has put out. Ours pale in comparison to offensiveness, you know, if you find it offensive at all.
Well, tell me about the burger ads in the UK.
Okay, well, from what I've heard is it's a gourmet burger company, and they've plastered all along the underground huge posters of their burgers, and it says, "No vegan can resist our temptation," and oh gosh, there was another one that was quite funny, play on words, and yeah, just meat is our friend and things like that. Like it looks like they were trying to be inflammatory. I think maybe they're taking it a bit too far when you're trying to incite them.
Yes, yeah.
Ours is just all in fun. And look, since Kekovich has been doing it, what it's done for Australian tourism and bringing in profit.
No, but there's we've got a bit of an edge with us. There's a bit of fun. We'll laugh about it. We'll satire. We like Kekovich. Then all of a sudden, they're not flavour of the month anymore.
It's just, you can never win, can you?
Never. You can never win in Australia.
But I tell you what, we will win with this. It will not be taken off the air.
No, I agree with you, Bronwyn. I totally agree.
I'll stand firmly on that one, just looking at these lovely lamb cutlets right now.
Yeah, the best in the world.
Exactly, we do. And it's also great for our farmers and our export and everything.
Of course it is. It's marvellous for the man on the land. All right, Bronwyn, thank you.
Have a great night, boys.
Okay, bye-bye. Chris at Hughesdale.
G'day, guys. How are you tonight?
Yeah, what's your story, Chris?
Oh, so as usual, you put on a great show. Can't stop laughing. We're talking about comedians. I grew up with the likes of Steptoe and Son, which was really funny, that show, if you remember it.
Yes, we do.
And also Mother and Son with Ruth Cracknell.
Oh, wonderful.
She was a crack up, that lady. My mother had passed away not long ago, but that was a favourite actress, and she was just the way, the looks, the facial expressions. It was just magic, that show.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, and also the Three Stooges. I don't know if anyone's mentioned the Three Stooges before.
No, good point.
Yeah, we did talk about them. They made a movie based on their life at one time.
Very good, and produced by...
a local show, was it?
Mel Gibson.
Yes, exactly.
Very good.
Yeah, okay, good call, Chris.
Thanks for that.
All right, Chris. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Good night.
Stan in North Caulfield. Good evening, Stan.
Good evening, boys. How are we tonight?
Good to hear your voice again.
Yeah, well, I've still...
Caulfield. Good evening, Stan.
Good evening, boys. How are we tonight?
Good to hear your voice again.
Yeah, well, I've still got it. Listen, boys, you're talking about comedians, and you're talking about male and female. What about George Burns and Gracie Allen?
Oh, yeah, we mentioned them a long time
I
ago.
missed that, yes. And also, there used to be in the UK, going back way back in the 40s and 30s, B.B. Daniels and Ben Lyon.
Yeah, we know of them, yes.
You remember them?
On radio, yes.
On radio with Vic Oliver.
That's right.
They were a very popular couple.
Yeah, they wouldn't really be known these days in Australia, sadly.
No, they wouldn't. And then you've got Abbott and Costello, two males, Laurel and Hardy, and you two.
Oh, thanks for that, Stan. But why did you mention us last?
Well, I was saving the best for last.
Like we're an afterthought, hmm?
No, I was saving the best for last.
All right, good talking to you, Stan.
You too, mate.
Okay, bye.
All the best.
Thank you, Stan. Quarter to 12. Kevin, good evening.
Good evening, Philip, and good evening, Bruce.
Yes, Kevin. Hi.
Bruce, last week, within the last week around about, during the on-air discussion of the passing of David Bowie, Bruce, you mentioned Woodstock and what memories listeners had of that era.
Yes.
Just wondering, have either of you gents happened to have viewed the original version of Woodstock, the movie?
I suppose little bits of it through the years, but not the movie, no.
Okay. Look, my enduring memory, and it's come to me since you had that program on air, is, and it always has been, the memory of a band of heaps of renown 10 years after.
Right.
The lead guitarist of 10 years after was Alvin Lee, and they performed as a feature act during the opening or the closing day or night of Woodstock. I can't remember whether it was the opening or the closing, and they were on stage for a hell of a long time during their performance of one particular song, which was a #1 hit around the world at the time.
Right.
Well, people have, amongst all the deaths that have come to notice of people in their, well, celebrity performers in their middle to late 60s during the last 4 weeks, everyone seems to have forgotten about Alvin Lee. Alvin Lee of 10 years after. He has also passed away.
Yeah, but his profile wasn't as high, perhaps, as David Bowie.
No, it wasn't as huge, was it?
Not as David Bowie.
Or Glenn Fry.
But it was, we're talking 70s.
Yeah.
And back in the 70s. And he certainly was high profile then on Melbourne radio. But just thought I'd mention Alvin Lee. I enjoyed his performances.
Hey, I'm glad you paid tribute to him. Thanks, Kevin.
The other one, if I can, Phil, is just to mention a couple of double acts. What about Dino and Daly? Has anyone mentioned that?
Oh, good one, yeah. Local boy, well, American, but worked locally, yeah.
And to close, what about Judy and Punch?
Yeah, I was always very bored by Punch and Judy shows when I was
we're
young.
talking about puppets.
Yeah, Punch and Judy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think I've outgrown them, but thanks.
Kevin, thank you very much. Let's get Paul.
Good night.
Would you? No, hang on. Hold the line. Would you get something for Kevin, please?
Oh, hang on. Well, let me go over to the cupboard.
There's a pancake parlour voucher there for $50 in the corner. The pancake parlour open 24 hours at High Point, Doncaster and Malvern East. See it there near the Bataki.
Thanks very much.
Got it.
All right, Kenny's got this for you. I want you to hold on, Kevin.
Thank you.
Hold the line. Nice call. Memories of Woodstock. James at Mooney Ponds.
Hello there, Bruce and Philip.
Yeah, hi, James. Often you're at the end of the show like this, aren't you?
Yeah, now you were talking about George Burns, and when he was around about 100 years old, they were interviewing him, and he was puffing on a great big cigar.
Yes, he was.
The interviewer said, what do your doctors think about you smoking these big cigars? He looked at the interviewer and he said, they're all dead.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Just a little...
Yeah, funny, isn't it?
Great line, wasn't it?
He had a good line, didn't he?
He loved those cigars, didn't he?
I think he used to eat them.
Yes, maybe, yeah. Thanks for that one, James.
Thanks. Good night.
No one's mentioned Bob Hope tonight, which surprises me.
Oh, very good suggestion.
Yes.
Oh, I'd love that.
The most obvious one of all.
Well, not the most obvious, no, but
the most famous of all, perhaps,
with
for
Crosby.
For a movie about his life.
Oh, marvellous, and the bit of an undercurrent there.
Yeah.
And, oh, yeah.
Started off as a boxer.
But early Hollywood and the buying up of property around Michigan and Vine and in the farmlands of Los Angeles.
And then making of the road movies at Paramount. Be a wonderful story.
No, that'd be
wouldn't it?
great. And their singing careers as well.
Yes, oh yes.
Well, their entertainment.
And you know, Bob Hope entertaining the troops during World War II. And
Crosby's bad humour, or, you know, temper.
Well, his nasty attitude that we're told about. I didn't experience that. He was quite charming.
Well, how long
to me.
were you with him?
Oh, about 2 hours, but
Oh, give you 2 years, he'd kill you.
Didn't slap me down or try and put me in my place.
Did he?
It was very affable, very, very pleasant. Mr. Brady, come this way.
There you are. There's Bing and Phil in the glass house.
We had a lot in common. We sort of twin soul. He arrived on the set.
Idiots together.
He arrived on the set on a bike. There's so much, you know, space between those studios that you
And
just
between his legs, by the sound of it.
just need to be on a bike. You just couldn't walk those distances.
Oh, why?
I'm embarrassed because that day I gave Bing an Australian kangaroo wallet, but I put a photo of myself inside. And
What, in
wrote
the
on it,
pouch?
Yes, inside the wallet. And probably years later he gave that to someone else, and they'd say, "Who's this creep in the wallet?" What?
I heard that it killed him. He went on a very quick scale downwards, and they kept saying, "Bing, what's the problem?" He said, "Kangaroo, wallet, idiot in pouch."
Maybe he did.
And it was the last thing he said.
Very sad. Hey, time for one more call. You'll have to be quick.
do you think?
Yeah, I'd like to take one.
Who?
Don't be lazy. 96900 693.
Who's there?
It's Teresa. Hello, Teresa.
Rita.
Rita, not
good,
Teresa.
Yeah, good start.
Yeah, sorry, that's our mistake.
It's all right. It's Rita from Rosebud.
Yes, Rita.
Hi.
Hello.
I was just ringing up to say hello. I've been babysitting with my grandchildren because my son-in-law's been in hospital. So it's just, I've just come home. I thought I'd ring up and say hello. I haven't heard any of your conversations.
Yeah.
Want to say hello and tell you it's been lovely to be able to help out when, you know, when your daughter needs you. So it's been
Oh, that's lovely.
lovely. Just so pleased that I could do it.
Oh, yeah, well, you'll feel proud tonight when you go to sleep. You'll go to sleep with a smile on your face.
Yes, I'm very pleased that I've been able to be there for them when they need me.
And thanks for sharing the story, Rita.
That's okay.
Okay, talk to you again soon, we hope.
Yeah, well, you will. You will.
Okay, and enjoy your week in Rosebud. Okay, Rita.
Excuse me, boys, can I just interrupt us before we finish? I've just taken a call off air, didn't want to go to air, asking, now I don't know, pardon my ignorance, did Bing Crosby ever come to Australia?
No.
I don't believe so, no.
No, see, I have no recollection of ever hearing, obviously.
Bob
on the line.
Hope did, but certainly not Bing.
Yep, I've heard of Bob Abbott and Costello. I've heard of Bing at the Palais Theatre.
No, not Bing at the Palais.
No, Abbott and Costello, but I've never heard of Bing being in this country.
No, not here ever.
Was afraid of flying.
Okay, thank you, 10 to 12.
A few lines dedicated to your dog. The reason a dog has so many friends is that he wags his tail instead of his tongue. Don't accept your dog's admiration as conclusive evidence that you are wonderful. There's no psychiatrist in the world like a puppy licking your face. A dog is the only thing on earth that loves you more than they love themselves. The average dog is a nicer person than the average person. We give dogs time we can spare, space we can spare, and love we can spare. And in return, dogs give us their all. It's the best deal man has ever made. And I wonder if other dogs think poodles are members of a weird religious cult. Anyone who doesn't know what soap tastes like never bathed a dog. And ever consider what our dogs must think of us? We come back from shopping with the most amazing haul. Chicken, pork, half a cow. They must think we're the greatest hunters on earth.
Copyright restricts distribution of this piece by any means of duplication.
boy, what a night it's been. What a crazy night.
Yeah, great fun, these precious moments we share together.
Indeed, and we shall be back tomorrow at 10. Andrew McLaren, our special guest on Nightline.
Yeah, welcome return by Andrew tomorrow night.
After midnight, we go across Australia with Luke Boner as Australia Overnight hits the airwaves.
I'll have a story for you tomorrow night. I'm off to an Australia Day lunch tomorrow.
Oh, where are you going?
I think it's in Jeff's Shed.
And where are you speaking on Australia Day?
I've been asked to unfurl the flag at South Morang.
All right.
Unfortunately,
what time is that?
At 9 o'clock at night.
Yes.
So I've had to say I'm double booked because I'm on my way to 3AW there.
So what are you going there tomorrow for then? It's just a really... what is it?
Well, it's because I'm patriotic and I want to be...
Yeah, but you won't be unfurling the flag.
No, but I do my share during the year, okay?
What have you done?
Oh, I always buy Australian, that's what I do.
When was the last Australian product you bought?
Ardmona pears,
yes,
okay, buddy?
From Japan.
So stick it up here.
Good night, Samuel, Carter, Amelia, Emily and Charlotte, Sweet Ella Grace, little William Oliver and Sophia Grace. I'm Bruce Mansfield, defending both the Japanese and Ardmona, and all the very best when you buy Australian.